So with Pixar basically having some sort of string of success with their movies, but I mean, also around that era they had some stinkers, kind of. I mean, they pretty much had a critical failure with Cars 2. They had mixed reception with the prequel Monsters University, which, I'll be honest, I didn't really like that one. And Brave was really dumb. Well, actually, dumb's not a right word. I really didn't like that one. The trailers made it look good, but it wasn't really that movie that really should see it. I mean, one's enough, but I wouldn't say it's worth owning on Blu-ray. Or the Oscar for Animated Feature. So, when it comes to their specials, the only things they have thus far are like one that relates to Toy Story taking place around Halloween and Toy Story around Christmas time. You can pretty much tell what we're focusing on right now. Toy Story around Christmas time. And that special is Toy Story That Time Forgot. In this short, which came out in 2014, so around the year I graduated, this 2014 short is about how our characters wind up finding themselves in one of Bonnie's friends' houses, and they wind up, finding like these whole bunch of toys that they decide to play with. And it turns out that these toys do have that same effect that Buzz has from the first film, that, or at least, I don't know how to say it, has an effect that they haven't been played with. So, they literally take control of every character, that they take control of all the toys and basically hold like some huge domain over it. And like, look, think of the Roman Legion if they were toys. That's what I could literally think of this. It's an insane idea and an insane concept that Toy Story That Time Forgot had. And of course in it, there's like other factors to it. Like Bonnie's trying to get... Not Bonnie, what is the name of the Triceratops toy? I keep constantly forgetting her name. Bonnie's the owner. Trixie, that's it. Trixie is trying to get the attention of Bonnie because she feels like she's not getting played with as much as everyone else is. Like she's not the dinosaur that she used to. But with the situation of the dinosaurs that aren't being played with, and the boy that Bonnie's hanging out with, who's on his like constant like D-box like video game chair system, whatever the thing is, that suddenly causes for attention that Bonnie decides, I want to actually, hang out here. This seems like a fun place to be here around Christmas time. But it turns out that they're not all friendly and easy. It's a fun... I will say, for their second little special, I like it fair enough. I mean, Time for God was actually kind of something I did kind of enjoy. I mean, I don't know if I took a look at it last year, but I did remember seeing it the first time it came out on Como 4, which is one of my ABC affiliates. But, I don't remember if it came on Freeform, but I did remember seeing it the first time that it was released. when I did the first vlog form 28 Days of Christmas Marathon. And I do say it was worth it. I don't know what to say to all this. I mean, it's a fun little special with memorable characters, and just overall, it has a sense of just being sort of kind of a Christmas special, just without having you feel it's a Christmas special. Because obviously, you're put into this little, like, situation of something that actually kind of reminded me of an MLP episode, the more I think about it. Bizarre that would bring me to that idea. But, let's see if we got some other specials or movies to focus on for today's viewing pleasure. Need I even say more with this next selection? Probably not, because mostly by the time you tune in the 12 days or something on Christmas Eve onto a certain channel, a certain movie may play for 24 hours up until Christmas Day. Okay, you know I'm talking about A Christmas Story, you know? Yes, you all know the cult classic Christmas Story from 1984. Or 1983, depending on when the film was released on various home video releases. But 1983 was the time that this movie came out. Pretty much, the film is such a cult classic and became one of the movie's biggest followings. As soon as it landed on television and it had its like marathon on TBS, it had a home. And there was no way that Turner was ever going to go back for having this movie on HBO or any of that channel ever again. But major question is, where do I stand with A Christmas Story? Thing is, as much as I know that this film is hugely popular, and the fact that everyone is just in love with the film's overly marketed with this. I mean, you basically go and Google A Christmas Story. I almost guarantee you'll find like merchandising all over the place. You can actually visit the real life version of the house where they actually filmed like literally filmed the movie at. And even for that matter, what else? They've made parody commercials, which I remember playing when, like ABC was airing the Polar Express. And that's not even getting to the tip of even where I even stand with it. The thing is, it is over-marketed. But the thing is, it's a peaceful little film. It's a fun little movie. But as much as it's overplayed, what makes A Christmas Story just a fun little movie to at least watch once every year instead of 24 hours on Christmas Eve evening and then right into the evening of Christmas Day, is that the fact is, most kids sometimes can even relate to a lot of the situations that happen in this movie. I mean, Christmas Story is really overplayed. It is everywhere you go. You might see, like, literal Christmas Story figgy pudding, or even for that matter, Christmas Story fudge, I mean. Or the Christmas Story the musical, to make matters even interesting. It still doesn't detract me from the fact that it's still a good film. I mean, it's no masterpiece, it's no Land Before Time or Green Mile, but it's still a good film either way. And that there were a lot of the situations that, when looking at it, when I saw it for the first time in middle and high school, I did relate to Ralphie's situations and a lot of the kids and what they went through. I mean, sure, it was a different time period that the story took place in, but it's still a relatable story, even with the different time period that this story takes place in, which is, what, 40s? Yeah, 40s or something like that. So, TVs weren't around that time. Though that could technically be the 30s. It is a relatable story because there could be that one kid that tries so hard in that one classroom to try to convince his parents to get him, like, that one video game, or that one, like, thing that he's always wanted all year round. And when all else fails, and he feels like he failed, it's like in the end, when he gets it, it's suddenly like retribution now that he's finally gotten that gift. It's something about it is just relatable in a contextual way. But I mean, is it really worth playing for 24 hours on TBS? I wouldn't think so. But if you think anything, at least it is worth putting on at least a few times on, like, Christmas or whatever, if you're in the mood for it. Though you do put it on for a 24-hour marathon, I almost guarantee you there will be people that will be, like, literally muting their TVs around a few hours into the film and just quoting the movie, like the entire script of it, because they could literally remember the whole thing within a few hours, if lucky enough. But either way, A Christmas Story, it's relatable in many senses if you were a young child that looked back on your childhood, seeing the fact that it was told by an adult looking back on his childhood, and even on a relatable sense, I do see a lot of my own youth in this movie, though in a different time period. So, what to start off with next? We have a lot of movies to go through, I realize, but the more I think about it, it's a lot to get through. And of course you probably noticed that the movies have changed a little bit. But that's not a fault with anything else, it's just that got myself into a bit of an accident with stacking all of these in one whole column. Trying out a design, but unfortunately that design didn't stick over very well. So that's why it's rearranged and not the way that it is. Well, actually, now that we are thinking about, like, certain things and whatnot, how about we talk about, what could we talk about next? Christmas in Connecticut. Or maybe Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah, but it depends on what mood I'm in. But anywho, see you guys either tomorrow or maybe in the next transition for the next movie. So, transition or see ya. So our final product for the night is sadly not the last two movies I basically said in the, in A Christmas Story, but instead we're focusing on the Nutcracker. More in particularly, the 1986 performance by the Pacific Northwest Ballet, made into a movie distributed by MGM. This right here is probably the only performance of the Nutcracker, at least I have seen thus far. The thing is, I love the Nutcracker. It's probably one of my few favorite compositions to listen to whenever I'm watching Fantasia, and even for the most part, the music of itself, if I was just to listen to it alone on Christmas, or even outside Christmas, the music still, like, catches on, like, like that. Yeah, that was a good snap. But you get my idea. The Nutcracker is a memorable production. The performance of the music and the ballet itself, it's a Pacific Northwest tradition for some to actually see the performance in the Macaw Hall by the Pacific Northwest Ballet, because those are the guys who present the performance. And in 1986, they teamed up with the same company that basically made the Brave Little Toaster, as of course they winded up creating the live-action performance filmed and captured in the literal, like, stage, not Macaw Hall, must I mind you, but inside Washington, in the University of Washington, with the performance of the Nutcracker. Now, it's literally hard to explain the story without having to explain the music and everything about it, but essentially this story is about a young girl, woman, I should say, who finds herself in a, like, dream. And, of course, she's attending a party and whatnot. And in that dream, she comes across what I could guess is the toy maker or whatever. And he winds up giving to her a nutcracker that she loves to death. And, of course, as midnight strikes, all of the toys and whatnot come to life, and so does the mice, which become anamorphic. Or anthropomorphic, I'm getting these mixed up with formats. They come alive, and of course, they decide to have an all-out war with each other. At least, that's one of half of the stories. The other half, they wind up going to, the Nutcracker and them wind up going to a party where they meet the maker of it. They have stories, and of course, that's where it all ends. Like I said, it's a crazy film. But for what they did for the time, it's at least something. And if you're wondering, no, I have not seen the version with Macaulay Culkin, because I've heard that's the lowest rated one as of yet. Unless there's another low-rated one, but I'm not going to take a look at it. But pretty much, I think this will do it for me tonight. Besides that, by the time I'm already recording this, it's pretty much almost 9, so I gotta get to editing this and then upload it for you guys to see. Then get started on tomorrow's video by, of course, tomorrow. But I will promise you by tomorrow I will watch Christmas in Connecticut and Miracle on 34th Street. Because, hey, these are classics. And I do like classic movies. So, who can blame me on that? But overall, if you have the chance, I'd say, or at least if you live in the Pacific Northwest, or if you're planning on visit Seattle anytime soon during the holiday season, which, by sometime next year, if I'm lucky enough, I might be able to go see the Pacific Northwest Ballet performance. Sure, they tore down the old sets, which is sad, really, but it'd be interesting to see what the new sets look like. So, until then, see you guys tomorrow.